Legacy of 9/11 for Arab Americans in Michigan, but more specifically metropolitan Detroit, is that um, it has impacted every aspect of life for Arab Americans. Everything from being wary, immediately after the attacks and the backlash against people who were thought to be Arab or Muslim, is being aware that the people around you in your community might think you're a threat. And so that changes the way you might dress, that changes the way you might talk, the places you go, the things that you do. And then the other kinds of federal surveillance that happened, the other sort of state surveillance that impacted Arab Americans' ability to do things like sending money back home. Wire transfers were being scrutinized. Are these people funding terrorism and they're just sending money back to their family like they had done all the time for like 100 years since they've been here? And so, yes, there was a lot of impact that affected people's everyday life, and continues to, because 9/11 wasn't the only moment. I mean, after 9/11, there was the Patriot Act, and then there was Patriot Act 2, and then there were all the different versions of federal policy and rhetoric that made Arabs look like, Arabs living in the U.S. look like they had something to do with what was happening, which was not the case. So immediately after 9/11, the Department of Justice already had its eye on the Dearborn Arab American population and the larger Arab and Middle Eastern population in Metro Detroit, even though there's absolutely no connection to 9/11. None has ever been found, nor would they, because the terrorists that hijacked the planes were mostly from Saudi Arabia. There's not very many people from Saudi Arabia in this area. They're mostly Lebanese, Iraqi, Palestinian, Syrian, and Yemeni. But still, it was like, hey, there's a bunch of Arabs living in this city, so clearly we should put some resources there. And so the Department of Homeland Security, which didn't even exist until after 9/11, opened its first field office in this area. The FBI had lots of agents on the ground here interviewing people, interviewing organizational leaders, and then there were crackdowns on charities that had operated for decades, and it was seen that all these charities are sending money to Palestine, or they're sending money to Yemen to orphans or to shelters or to build schools, and the FBI said, no, these are clearly fronts for funneling money for terrorism, and they shut a lot of these charities down. And that had a big chilling effect on the community, where it was like, oh, we're being watched. Even though we have nothing to hide, we're being watched. And so a lot of people had to change the way they live their daily lives.